You don't owe anyone an explanation for the decisions you make. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the choices that you the choices you make, the way the decisions you make, the way you run your life. One of the things that it plagued me for a while, and then I started realizing we want to be empowered. We want to step into our identity. We want to step into our purpose. We want to step into our calling. Not everyone's going to understand what you do. Even your best friends, even your family, especially your best friends. God doesn't give everyone insight to what mission he has for you. And so, one of the things that really was a life and game changer for me was realizing that comments that people make the about the decisions that I make don't need to affect me. The more I own my decisions, the more I decided and I was intentional and I balanced my decisions with my priorities and my values. So if you haven't discovered what your priorities and values are, I encourage you to figure that out first. Like core values and the priorities that you hold as you, as your family, as your business, like everything that you affect. If you make those decisions based on your values, and let me give you an example here. So we were having a family outing. We were going somewhere, and in particular, I have some extended family members who are always like, "Oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, it must be nice to be able to go there." Well, first of all, we had planned it to be a big family thing. It was an event, um, and then I realized that I was like, "Oh, yeah, they are not able to come," but they are. They chose, like, they had a different priority. They couldn't come because they didn't have time off available, which no shade, like, no judgment. But the thing is that they used their time for something else. They would go like a week-long camping trip and do that. And so they couldn't come to this event because they would do that. And it dawned on me that it's not about right or wrong. It's about empowering yourself to own your choices. Because when I realized they made their choice, they would go on their camping trips with their friends. And again, my intention here is not to throw shade. It is to let you know that that's what their values, their decisions were made for that. Whereas instead of coming and doing like a big family thing, which is fine, the key is don't complain about it. Like if you like we all have limited resources, we all have limited time, money, talents, resources, all the things, gifts. We all have our lane. So when you make choices, and I want to encourage you to really look at the decisions you make and embrace them. I love to travel. I think it's good for my family. I don't always travel. Like we travel, we don't always vacation. Like if that makes sense. Like we go to some cool places, but we also like there's an element of education and service. And typically I go there for more than one reason. There are some times that we go for purely vacation, but overall, like travel to me is it's a lifestyle, right? I also love traveling for work. I love it. This is something that I've been working towards is being able to go and speak at different places and to have someone who you care about say, you're always on the go. That used to bother me because I was like, man, am I always on the go? Am I like, should I be traveling this much? What should I do? And then it real like, wait a minute, I'm actually building my life towards this. And so now when I was like, yeah, like I have the privilege to go often. I have the privilege to do different things. I take my kids on half of them, like more than half of them, because again, it goes with my values. So when you're looking, like if you want to stop worrying about what other people think, if you want to stop worrying that other people are judging you, know first of all that people judge what they don't understand. Also, do they have even the right to judge? That's one thing that I realized is the person who is judging is not actually even attempting to live the life that they want to live. So they didn't even have the ability to like they shouldn't have a place in my life judging because they don't know, they don't walk in my shoes. Honestly, we all should not be judging. We don't know what each other's lives are like. But in their questions and when they start making comments, I've started telling myself, okay, my decisions actually fully align with my values, with my priorities, with the things that I want my kids to learn, with the just it aligns with the life that I want for myself, my family, my kids. What I want to show you guys that is possible because when you can have whatever, you can have the life you want, but you need to own your decisions. And sometimes you may have limited, like you may be like, Tammy, like we don't have, like travel's not even an option for us. Okay, that's fine. But if travel is something that's a priority for you, you don't have to travel out of the city, out of the state, out of the country. You can travel out of your little town. You can travel and go to parks. You can, it's all about, again, like honing in on those core values. And I'm going to start talking a little bit more about these core values. I'm actually planning a workshop because when you are trying to step into who you're called to be, the more you know what you believe in, what you stand for, the easier it is to make decisions. The easier it is for you to be empowered by the walk that you walk versus get sidetracked by what other people are doing, by getting shiny objects, by seeing things and success of other people and feeling like you are lagging behind or you haven't arrived or whatever. When you know your core values and your priorities, it's a lot easier to stay in your lane, to cheer everyone else on, and to know that you're moving forward. And one of the biggest things is we, like so many people, so many are driven by the decisions they make. And yet they don't actually put effort into making the decisions. One thing when it comes to, and I'm just going to continue with travel because it is a luxury. It is something that people aspire to. But it doesn't have to be this giant thing that you like we put on the vision board one day and we never actually get to. Travel can be 30 minutes down the road. It takes time. It does take resources. Again, you get to decide how much, but it's a choice. And then you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice? I talk about how like you can have everything and then you also can't. Like, we don't have it all at the same time. And also, you get to define what having it all looks like for you because what having it all looks like for me and what my one of my best friends, it doesn't all line up and both are good. The more you decide in advance that your decisions are going to be based on your values, your priorities, what you want from life instead of just, whatever the whim is. And there's room for spontaneity. There's absolutely room for spontaneity, but own it. If you have made decisions and used your resources, whether it's time off, whether it is gas for the week, whether it's, even let's just say our food budget, if you get that burrata and decide that that's what you want to do, like own it. If you haven't had burrata, it's delicious. I just got a question about what is burrata. It is like a mozzarella goo wrapped in a ball of mozzarella. And it's delicious. And it's not cheap, but every once in a while it goes on sale, or every once in a while when I am celebrating something, or I just want to feel fancy without going to a fancy restaurant, I get some of that and with like crostinis, or I make bread to go with it. It's delicious. Again, it's all about choices that we make. I know that when I go grocery shopping, or when I have a budget for something, or if I'm saving up for something. I have a friend who's moving to Finland. Um, oh my goodness, this year, moving to Finland this year. I have a dream I'm going to visit her twice, at least twice in the next 3 years. Once in the winter, because I really want to go and experience Finland and the Arctic Circle in the winter, and then once in the summer because I want to be able to go outside and enjoy life, because it's warmer. But because of that, I get to look at, okay, for the next 3 years, how do I want to use my travel budget? What can I sacrifice that don't align with my priorities, that don't align with, like the level? So it's like, okay, monthly subscriptions, I can cancel those. I love the FabFitFun box. I canceled that. And that money every quarter is going to travel fund. Like we get to own our decisions. And because I've stated my intention that I want to go to Finland at least twice with my family. So it's not just one person. We're looking at 4 people with that. But I'm owning it, which means that when I say no to things, I know it's because I'm saying yes to this. When I say no to an extra, like maybe going, somewhere for a weekend, it's because I am putting those resources aside for something bigger, something better. If you want to change your life, if you want to make changes, own your decisions. It's so much more than just filling out a habit chart or creating a new budget or a new time management system. It's so much even more than just setting goals for yourself. When you align them with what's important to you, they take on a whole new meaning. When you align them with what you're willing to sacrifice to get it, and then you write it out and you detail it. I wrote a paragraph of what I want to do when I go visit my friend. Luckily I'll stay with her and her family, so I can save money there. But it's like, okay, we'll be traveling, so we're looking at renting an RV for a couple of days and to drive the Arctic Circle, or something cool. So it's like, okay, when I'm picturing these, that's when I can say no to buying an extra book. Instead of buying the book, I will wait for the library to get it. I still want to read the book. It's still a priority. And I don't need to wait right now, or I don't need to get it right now. I can wait until it's available somewhere else. Or I have a friend who's reading it and I'm like, hey, can I borrow it from you? And then I can say, hey, these are the books I have. We don't have to completely sacrifice. But if we want to change, if we want a different life, we have to start aligning our choices and our daily decisions with that life that we want. That's all I wanted to tell you, is that we talk about empowerment, we talk about equality, everyone have equal opportunities. As much as that is a wonderful idea, equality doesn't mean everything is the same. It's the same opportunities. It's the same ability. It's the same right to make choices. So to boil it down, own your choice. Make your decisions based on your priorities, your values, and what are you willing to sacrifice to get it. Realize that when other people make comments, you don't have to listen to them, or it doesn't even have to affect you. When you know that your priorities, my friends who always talk about my travel, they have an amazing house and animals, and they are homebodies, which is great. They don't see the value in travel like I do. They also haven't had the opportunities to take travel. They didn't grow up as part of, I believe that wanderlust is part of my soul. And I love when I go to their house has always got fresh decorations, and it's always it's just a neat place. She decorates, and all of her new animals and her little babies and everything is so great. And that's what they prioritize. When we don't have to judge each other for our decisions. Your choices, you may have limited choices right now, But if you start aligning them with your values, you're going to and start sacrificing what doesn't go with your priorities, you're going to have more and more and more options. You're going to be able to see how the things that you're doing add to your life instead of those things that you may have just ordered and you realize that it was a whim. You didn't really need to buy that extra outfit or whatever it is. You're like that other 12th pair of jeans, of blue jeans that are all the same style and same color. You may not have to, but if clothes is your passion, go for it. But don't throw shade. Don't judge other people for what their decisions are, because we have the same amount of time. Though our resources may be different, we all have the opportunities to grow our resources. We have to get scrappy. We get to make choices. We get to take the steps to do it. But when you own your choices, you empower yourself to change your life. And that's all I wanted to share in this. Well, I think it's been like 15 minutes. But I really wanted you to see that we all can start somewhere. We can start with right here and decide what your priorities are. What do you want? And what are you willing to sacrifice to get it? And then don't worry about what other people think, because they don't walk in your shoes. They don't know the reason behind the reason. They don't know the why behind the why, and they don't see what you see. And it's okay, because if we all saw the same thing, we would be really boring and we wouldn't have stories to share. We wouldn't have a calling that's unique to us. And so it's okay. Make your decisions, own them. Even if you look at your decision and be like, oh yeah, that didn't really align. Great. Why? And what do you want to do different? And what can you tell yourself, or what can you do so that way you are able to change that next decision that you make to align? That's one of my favorite things about choices is you always have an opportunity to do it again. You have an opportunity to choose something different. Maybe not in the same way, but when you make a choice that you're like, oh, that didn't work out, the next time you'll be a little bit more intentional. So that's what I have for you, friend. I would love to talk to you about what choices you're making and how to align them with your values and your priorities, and how to get that life that you're looking for. A life of joy, impact, fulfillment, a life where you get to live the way you want to live and do it in a way that, like, it's not selfish, but it's really that ripple effect that when you are stepping into who you're called to be, that others can see that and also take those steps as well. I would love to talk to you about that. And I would love for you to comment purpose if you're ready to. Forget if you're ready to. If you have in your knower that this is something you need, comment purpose and let's talk about what's possible. Let's talk about next steps. Let's talk about how you can work with me, or what resources are available to you. Because I do have a lot of them that I don't even put on my website, which also is still down, by the way. Again, growing pains. One day it will work again. Bringing one down, things got to break in order to be fixed. I digress. Comment deeper. No, comment purpose. Let's talk about who you're called to be, and let's do this thing together. Stop trying to piecemeal it and do it on your own when you know that there's something there. Like, working with somebody else is such a privilege, and it's an empowering moment when you get your idea validated. With that, friend, choose joy until joy chooses you. And I can't wait to see the power of your choices and how you start to change your life when you start taking back those choices and making them intentionally. All right. Bye for now.